That intro's loud.
Ah. Ooh.
I'm like, I just laugh at the concept. For me, it's just personally funny. You have these videos or whatever, and like, okay, whatever. Artist Empire is supposed to be like a company, but then you have like evil laughs at the end of your. It's like, what does that even mean? It's like you see Nike having an evil laugh at the end of their intros or something. I'm cracking up. Uh,
Evil.
we missed we missed a few weeks, man.
I know. There's been a
The,
lot going on in the world.
I
Uh,
know.
Stuff and all sorts. So was it? So last week, I think you had technical. Was it last week you had technical difficulty?
Yeah,
You
we
started.
bombed. We started, and then somehow it bombed out. Or wait, I can't even remember what last week is. I know I was kind of half busy. I think it was the week before I had a stream going and it bombed out, which is rare actually.
Oh, last week you had dog. You had to go fetch
Oh,
a dog.
that's right. Yeah, that's what I did have. Yeah.
So apologies to all our regular viewers.
Yeah, which we appreciate you swinging by.
Worked all week, looking forward to the Wednesday night paintover.
I,
Cruelly disappointed. Um, I- our hearts are heavy with remorse and regret. And
exactly. And
please,
what at this point, it's almost like a little bit of withdrawal. And I'm like, at this point too, I'm like, oh, I think I like Lee. I think I enjoy talking to him. It's like the biggest part of my week now turns into like, it's like, okay, hey, we'll have the hobby chat. I get to talk serious hobby about everything. And so then when I don't have it, I'm like, oh, that's why I didn't do a week of the Twitter chats, and I could just tell I was like kind of like low energy. If I'm not around it, and I took kind of like the weekend off and didn't draw anything or whatever, and I'm like kind of a creature of habit. So if I get out of doing something, it's like it takes me a little bit of time to start back up, and so I was glad to get
give
back at it.
is
And there's an
like
awesome Corvus. This model, I forget the name. Wait, who did it?
it's Corvus Corex and
Aurel,
something. Was
yeah,
it?
I don't know how to pronounce it. It's in the tweet. Aureli Schick did it. I can't. It's a tough one.
Right. And
And then,
engaging Twitter.
yeah, and here was the other one I was going to do, which I love. Um, Wait,
Yeah.
I think it's Pretzel Posture. It used to be bad Posture Paint, but then changed the name, so now I don't remember it. So they changed their Twitter, and I think it was Pretzel Posture. So Patreon, I've known him forever. He was like literally my first supporter, and him and let me
Cup
look
of
at the tweet.
tea.
Cherry, um, what was?
Cup of cherry tea.
Oh yes, okay, that one on Twitter. I couldn't remember the full name. And they teamed up on this. This base is so cool and the lighting and everything. So I wanted to give it that. I want to try to get that glow from the fire because they already painted it all over the legs and down there. So I want to have that nice glow there and then get it darker up top and have like these eyes glowing and like that staff, against like a darker sky background. So this one and an incredible pick. It also I love this pick because it has a nice dark shadow underneath the chest. So it's one of those things that in a figure, if for a paint over, obviously it might not be the best thing if you're trying to photograph your beautiful painted model, but for a paint over, it's nice to have some of those good high contrast spots on a model because it really adds to it. And you can usually notice too, if you look at a lot of like GW artwork, a lot of their figures will have some dark contrast on them right there. You'll notice that a lot. So I was looking forward to these.
This is the twin-headed beastie we've seen this week.
Yeah. And
We had
wait.
that chat yesterday, wasn't it? We had the Marlin, was it? Marlin?
Oh
Marlin?
yeah. Mark. Wait.
With
God,
the
I forget.
dragon in the tree.
Oh yeah, that was right. That was a trippy one that I thought the square thing was part of it, but it was just a piece in the background. That looked so much like it was built around a square.
Yeah. Well, squares being
Is
the
this
shape of building.
I didn't know. I thought I saw this before. Is this second head added on, or does this come with two heads? Do you know?
What it looks like a Lord, a Zench Lord of Change,
Yeah.
but it may be a converted one,
Mm-hmm.
or
I'll
because
have to
it doesn't
find
look
out
like I remember.
because I've seen some before, and I swear I painted over, but I don't remember a two-headed one, or else I missed it. So either which way, this is awesome.
So,
What did you do? Did you do any hobby this weekend or what, or last weekend or whatever we
well,
missed?
the past weekend was the seminal gaming event that is Salute.
Oh yeah, you did stop up there.
Yeah, I saw our mutual friend of the show, Benjamin Greaves. I always want to say that. So I saw him and a few other folk that are Twitter personalities, such as
Yeah.
G's, uh, a warm and awful feeling, Office Painter,
Oh, did you?
Electric
Okay.
Eve was there as well. Um, Dave, who's Nano Wine, I think his name is. Yeah, so there was quite a lot of people. But Blood Medusa, who is again friend of the
Oh,
show,
okay. Yeah.
was there as well, amongst lots of other people that I know in real life anyway, for the gaming event of the year, because there hasn't been
Huh.
that many.
No, that's right. And I saw some of the pictures and everything, and I was like, okay, there, at least a bunch of people sort of came and whatever, so that was good. I don't know how overall it would do or what convention. I don't know what the conventions are like even over here.
Well, it was really cool because at the same time, because the Excel in London is a massive sort of events facility type place.
Yeah.
So you've got loads of like halls sectioned off,
Okay.
and you get all sorts of things. And normally in because Salute's normally held in April, sorry, each year.
Yeah.
Normally it's on the weekend where they have the London Marathon. So you have
Oh.
thousands of people coming there to do their registration for the marathon on the Sunday, and other events. But this year, which was probably the best time to have Salute, really,
Yeah.
next door was Destination Star Trek. So you had thousands of Trekkies down
Uh,
there.
you did for this
Trekkers.
during this was going on during.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like, all dressed up in their Starfleet uniforms. There was some Klingons and Andorians, and all
Yeah.
sorts who all
I'm
love Star
surprised. I
Trek.
didn't see that mentioned anywhere. That's kind of surprising. I thought people would
Well,
have
I
probably
was
just.
surprised because I was wondering why there were so many Star Trek people there. I thought, is this an away team? What's going on?
Yeah.
But apparently George Takei was there
Okay.
for the event, and um, oh, the woman that plays Captain Janeway.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
Voyager, she was there as well. There might be
Wait.
some other people, they were the headliners.
Okay, so wait a second. I just saw. I don't know. One of the things I saw was something about one of the Star Trek shows was getting taken off Netflix,
Oh,
and
yeah,
go.
Discovery.
Okay, but which one was Discovery? Now, because I thought that wasn't the newest one, or was it? Oh,
Yeah.
damn it. Are you serious? Netflix, maybe it's not in the States, but I would have
No,
watched it.
what's happened is they're being taken off as of tonight. It's being taken off of Netflix, and it will return on Paramount Plus, because
Okay.
Paramount are now going to be doing their own
Yeah,
streaming services.
everybody is.
They're making a big play now, because over here in my area of the world, apparently there's going to be a theme resort not that far away from where I am in Essex.
Okay.
Thinking it might be actually down towards Dartford, which is on the other side of the bridge, sort of
Okay.
big bridge here. And they're going to be doing a like Paramount Studios thing, like Universal Studios. So obviously the flagship for Paramount is
Oh, yeah.
So they're making a big play to sort of put their brand on the map and do their streaming service and have this resort thing. Apparently, the site's already been chosen. It's just going to take time to get built and what have you.
I'll have to hit them
Hey,
up and see if they need help promoting it. Maybe they need a couple experienced podcasters or whatever we're doing, YouTubers. What are we? I don't even know what this is, but maybe they need us to help them out.
we're dudes. We are dudes on a mission.
Yeah. Hey, Toffee Troll, what's up? Thanks for joining us. We haven't
Yeah,
had
so
one of
like
these in a
obviously
while.
you can do the federation side of things. I'll do the clean on side of things,
Yeah,
and
we'll
and
help
Toffee
them
Truck
out.
is
Don't they have
the triple
miniatures or
army.
something? Don't is it? Aren't there Star Trek miniatures by now? Wait, how come I never even seen one? Wait a second. Have you seen any good Star Trek miniatures ever?
There's Star Trek like Starfleet battle type games,
But no, like
which
individual characters, like 28 millimeter.
well, you probably buy busts and stuff to paint up. Or obviously, most people are going to like 3D print them now. I would have thought,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah. So I enjoyed the Starfleet Attack Wing, I believe it was called, or Star
Okay.
Trek Attack, which was an interesting game. Same as things like X-Wing miniatures, and you move and shoot and stuff.
Yeah. Wait, this one's on you. How do you pronounce? I believe it's her. Forgive me if it's not. How do you pronounce? What's her?
Aurelie, well, sorry,
Or,
get my teeth in. Sorry.
it's I
Um,
know.
Aurelie Chic
Okay, what
miniature art.
chick? Okay, we're gonna go with miniature art.
Surname?
This was I believe it's her again. I didn't look, but this is hers, and it was so cool. I just happened to see it, and I don't think I've seen many of this model. Is this must be new out, or how did I not see this?
No, he's been around for a while. He's been around for about
Really?
4 years because I've got him as well because I'm a big Raven Guard Heresy player, which the whole thing is awesome. So instant respect because it's Corvus Corax.
Yeah.
A badass
And
of a prime.
the landing that was going on with this, how it looks like it's landing and then just shoot. I was like, oh gosh, this is so
Yeah.
cool. He's coming in, he just pops them on the way down, and I was like, the glow that was already on the gun and everything. I thought, okay, it'll be perfect. I can put a nice bolt through them. I was like, okay, I might do. I'm debating on a few things, but one, I was like, do I put some blood coming out the back, or do I literally have it burn through? So I'm like, all right, we'll see. It would probably just basically like burn through, and you wouldn't get any blood. But I'm like, dude, I need to put some more blood in these. But I'm like, that is probably too much. Maybe I just have like a little bit as an indication or something.
No, so
But
with the whole dynamic of the model is just like it's
yeah,
coming in doing sort of like mega superhero landing type.
yeah,
We say like the way the ground crumbles beneath his like the
yeah.
impact sort of
That
thing.
was
So
so
it's
cool.
down,
That's the other thing. I'm gonna have pieces flying up. I was like, okay, with that perfect, like that's perfect. I'll put like chunks of like brick or whatever flying up when he landed.
but I would say like Korax himself is such a great character. He's one of the best fighters. Now he might not be reflected in his like character stats in game.
Yeah, but when he wants to take someone out, kind of deal.
Well, he's weapon skill 7. So like the better fighters are going to be like Russ, Night Haunter, the Lion,
Yeah.
the big guy, obviously Sanguinius,
Yep.
and Angron. Angron is Mr. Angry, but Korax he's got a very good initiative on like when he goes into combat.
Yep.
He's a bonus to his initiative, and he gets quite a few attacks as well. So he's like a little like whirling dervish Tasmanian devil type thing. So he gets a number of attacks, and more than standard in comparison to other primarchs. He's, as I said, got a good initiative, but he gets
So
bonus.
it's probably like if you're going for your first strike or come in, he's probably got some abilities that really key off on that. Basically, I would assume.
He can also withdraw out of combat as well, so he can come in
Okay.
smack somebody, and if his initiative is higher than his opponent, he can then go back into reserve. So he goes
Yeah,
off the table, but then he can come back in the next turn if he rolls for reserves. So he's like
very
jumps in,
cool.
goes out, and does whatever. But I was using him in a game against Andy Hoare,
Okay.
who's playing. He had Fulgrim on the table, beating up some of my Pravian and some Castellac battle automata. Corax jumps in. Next turn, he runs in and joins in the combat. And and he's gone to attack, and he's basically fouled this roll, so he blinded himself. So his initiative goes down to 1. So
Yeah.
I did the initiative with both my guys, with my Pravians and that. And Corax basically killed him. And then he moved in his consolidation move. He headed over towards a Spartan tank, which he then killed afterwards. So in celebration,
Clayton,
Corax
thanks
is
for making
always.
it. Awesome work on this miniature. I gotta have, I wouldn't even just send him one now, but I gotta have Clayton on. I'm gonna try to get Cherry on too. I don't know if the same time or different, but I wanted to talk about some of their painting and stuff they did on this. So thanks for joining us. And Fenris said, to be fair, this I love the show for stuff like this. To be fair, Blaine and Predator had a burst of blood from his chest when the Predator gave him a blast of plasma from behind. See, we it's like such a it's a true tidbit.
Although also my favourite sort of like nerd fact about Predator is that when you see the Predator in his invisible form, like when he's
Yep,
dragging Hawkins through the forest after killing him and all that sort of stuff,
yep.
that was Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Was it?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I never knew that.
yeah. So basically, he was walking around the jungle in a big pink suit, like alien
Yeah,
suit. Um, and he basically got so sort of upset that he's trying to make it big in Hollywood, and he's walking
yeah.
around the jungle in like a big sort of pink prawn.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, no, this is not for me. I am Jean-Claude Van Damme. And he sort of like got out of it, but because he was pink in green, they could do the like green screen basically and
Yeah.
just visible. So all those scenes was actually Jean-Claude Van Damme.
There was a show he did. I don't, it must have got taken off or whatever, but maybe I watched it a year ago or a year and a half ago. And he played himself in like a spoof comedy, and he was like a secret agent, but he played himself, and it was totally this like weird kind of comedy thing where it was like kind of over the top action, spy play, and I don't remember what that was. I don't know if it only went a season or two, but it was just something funny about it, like him. And the other one, he played in a movie where he did not speak at all. He was the main character, and he played someone who had some voice thing damage. And what was funny is, I don't really even I don't have no problem with him talking or whatever, but I thought that was one of his better movies. It was just like a real slow type movie. Oh, that's what Daryl Mason has the name. Jean-Claude Johnson was the name of the show, and it was on Amazon. He said it was bloody brilliant. Yeah, I don't know if it's only one or if it's like two seasons or what, but that one kind of cracked me up.
It's like I always remember like growing up, like 80s, and you had his most seminal work for me, which was Bloodsport,
Oh
uh,
yeah, that was yeah.
which was the sort of based on the sort of the story of Frank Dux.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, went to Hong Kong to participate in the Kumatai. But, yeah, the bad guy in that, the villain in that, Bolo Young, was like you see him, you recognise him from so many sort of like martial arts movies and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember him for sure.
But he's like, I saw like a video of him sort of like touring like holiday camps in England, and he does a lot of singing.
Oh, that's
It's
funny.
just like what this was the real badass dude, like with the
Yeah, yeah.
moving pets and
And
everything.
he belts out some Sinatra.
Oh yeah, of course. You always default to Sinatra on holiday camps.
Thanks for making it, everyone. Appreciate it. So there's a lot going on. I'm trying to wrap up a few things, but I should have a couple good little announcements, and then I'm trying to get, I don't know if sponsors is the right word, but like sometimes like some companies maybe like get a little discount or something, you know what I mean, for like listeners and for Patreon. So I'm going to start trying to pack some more value into that. So going to be in contact with a few people and hopefully start, just get whatever I can, some little like even if it's a percentage off or whatever for listeners on different products for people and stuff like that. So it's going to be, I don't know, I got to finish this year out strong. If I finish this year out strong, I'll feel good going into next year. Actually, I'll feel really good going into next year.
There's Fenris in the chat saying, come off it, Forge. You know Street Fighter is your favourite.
Oh, yeah.
To
Oh,
be
that,
fair, I did enjoy Street Fighter. I'm not going to lie. It was, like Dalcium and Bison.
yeah.
Which was, I can't remember. If he played Adam's family.
Oh,
I was just like Gizmo.
I played that video game was one of the ones I played the most. Dude, ridiculous amount of time spent
I
playing
used to
that.
play Guile and Blanca. They were my two favourites.
I was just
Guile,
typical Kenner Ryu. I got to a point, it was so funny, this arcade. I didn't know anyone there. I played there so much and I was so happy. I could go there at the start of a day and it used to be winner stays, loser pays. I could stay the whole day at the arcade and not lose and play the whole time after the initial. So I used to get there early and I would just play as much as I possibly could. And then they it was this arcade in a mall and I didn't even know these people, right? They they would let me they would leave. They used to, in the malls they have the metal gate that you close shut. So
yeah,
what they would do is in the back they had an extra Street Fighter machine and they would open it up and load it up. You're like, here, you can flick as many credits as you want, and this is like it's like downstairs, so there's no light coming out because it was like a two-story arcade. And they were like, well, just when you leave, turn this power off, and then when you shut the gate, it'll lock. And so then they're like at a mall, and they just let this kid that they didn't even know was like, here, man, stay late, play as much as you want, and then shut your gate on the way out. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen these days.
no, definitely not. Fenris, Raw Julia. Yes, thank you very much, Fenris. Yeah, he was Gomez Adams, which him and
Oh,
Angelica
yeah.
Houston in the Adams Family and Adams Family Values, like those two. Like I used to
Yeah.
watch the old like 1960s Adams
Yep,
Family
so
sort of
did I. I did.
thing, and like the Munsters and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
those two, they really made the whole thing about Gomez and oh my god, I'm suffering from
Hmm.
your disease. I
See,
can't.
don't blame me, man. Don't blame me. I
Angelica
didn't know these
Houston
sponsors
and
up
Raw
yet.
Julia.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's a Cara Mia sort of thing. It's just like the whole and like Christopher Lloyd as Fester.
They
Um,
did. They did have a crazy cast in that. That
and
was a lot
Christina
of.
Ricci as Wednesday.
I thought she was brilliant as Wednesday. There was like I just remember like back in the day when that came out, seeing the promos and some of her stuff just cracked me up how they had her in that.
Morticia Addams, that's it. So
Yeah.
there was a big move from fans to have her play Morticia in like any remakes of the Addams Family.
Yeah.
Um, but that's life. If they are doing it, I don't know. They might be. All I've got in my head at the moment is the after yesterday's drop of the latest Expanse trailer
Oh
for
wait,
the
they dropped.
last.
I think I have 2 or 3 episodes of Expanse to watch from the season that's out. So I'll end up watching that. They're doing this. Is it the final season?
Final season, yeah, because in the books, although there's 9 books, uh, after book 6, there's quite a jump in the timeline.
Okay.
So obviously, Amazon have just gone, we'll fund you for these last 3 seasons, sort of thing,
Yep.
4, 5, and 6, and go from there. But yeah, I said watching the trailers yesterday, it's just like I watched it several times. It's just looking so awesome.
Good. I hope
because
they finish strong because to me that's been a good sci-fi series.
yeah, oh,
Like it
totally,
was, they had a lot going on. I'm like, they went for it, so they didn't wimp out. They almost, in for me, they almost got overly complicated, almost, but they tied up enough stuff and kept it where I didn't get like just lost where you start getting all crazy with too much stuff.
yeah. So they've been hitting the mark pretty much all the time in all the seasons so far. So
Yeah. Give me
it's
I'll be back in 1 minute. I'm gonna mute this and I'll be right back.
oh my god, he's leaving me unattended. Don't leave me unsupervised. There's people here. So yeah, so it's everyone who's in the chat. What are you doing apart from obviously listening to us to waffle on? Are you hobbying today, or are you just chilling out and yeah, drinking a beer like I am? I'll be hobbying later. So, and if you are doing hobbying, what are you working on? Because I love all that stuff, as you well know. Oh, and my dog's kicking off now, as they often do. Yes, so apart from setting up machines as usual, got some War Master models for the priming table. Ooh. So War Master models, are we talking the big War Master, or are we talking the other old game War Master? Quick paint a moustache on his, but that's not his. So we'll be sort of like being rude to the owner. That's not right. Bad toffee troll. Cheeky son. Yeah, that's it. No, what I've got to on my Iconoclast War Master. I've got to do some zigzags. So I'll do some airbrushing, but I've got to find my stencils to do the zigzags because they made their hazard stripe zigzag, which is frustrating. Oh, it is the old teeny Warhammer. Oh, yeah. I'm considering it an Iconoclast for. Oh, Lania Scar Iconoclast, and if you corrupt that, that's going to be even eviler. Or the original. Well, both are, they both serve as a purpose. One, obviously, you're going to blow crap away, remove them. But the Iconoclast definitely looks very formidable, and especially with Lania Scar with their rules that they've got, and now with the corrupted options. I was actually listening to Engine Kill by the Eye of Terror Australian podcast, who done their latest Engine Kill the other day, and they've gone through that, and they're very sort of very happy with what's come out in the new book for the Legios, like stratagems and everything in general, basically. So they're really sort of like talked for about 2.5 hours about the book. Don't really go into anything about the actual Legios themselves, but talking about builds and options that you could do and tweak around and all that sort of thing. So it was actually quite interesting sort of listening to and from work today. My mech boy needs a new mega armor. You're almost done with your traditional conversion. I love my Lania Scara Raptura. Also, maybe around Xmas, I'll take a look at what's happening and plan something new. So another Maniple, another Legio, surely. You can't just have one. You need more. You need all the Legios. Every last one of them. Raptura Maniple is basically just playing volleyball. Yes, that's the thing. Like, there's so many Maniples I haven't actually played as yet, because my go-to one, because I've like back when we were playing, before this whole COVID shenanigans. The ones that I played the most was basically Venator Light Manacles with my Legio Solaria. And I like how that works. I like, although I love Reavers and I love all the Titans, but I haven't really played that much with other Legios. Like of my loyalists, out of 4 loyalists, I've played with 3 Legios out of 4. So my Fortidus, because obviously I've done that during lockdown, so I haven't had a chance to play with Fortidus as of yet. On the traitor side of things, I've only played with Kratos so far. So I've got I really want to play my Demisium, Unbroken Lords. I really want to play my Audax at some point. I want to play Kratos again because now they've got better rules for their organisation in particular, and my Volcanum. Friends have played with them during sort of our little meetups and stuff that we've done before lockdown. So I would like to actually play with them in games. So I want to get some more games on the go at least. One day I'll finish my full scale one, but I don't want to assemble Warhounds. Full scale Warhounds, their feet are just the worst.
Full scale Warhounds.
Yeah. I was just Clayton Edison was just telling us we're talking about Titans and stuff. We're talking about hobby as we do here on Artist Empire's live stream. Paintover Wednesday.
I know. What I'm cracking up is like, so I'll have to start, not have to, but I want to. But like, when I start doing small plugs for me or whatever, but I'm just laughing. I'm like, oh, how's that going to go? I'm a marketing genius. Like, hey, look at this and then go buy it. It'll help.
Yeah, it always helps. Yeah. And having Crimson here always helps as well.
Oh,
Crimson Remission.
Yes. See, shout out to Crimson. Oh, Crimson is in here. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can always know when he's here. The first
word
out is
I leave and then everyone starts talking. So everyone's talking here. The same thing happens in my Discord. As soon as I leave, I'll talk in Discord and I'll say all this stuff and then I'll leave for a while and not be around for a couple hours and the whole conversation breaks out and then I come back and it dies.
Yeah, because it's you.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, you know what? There might be something about that.
I do have a set of 4 Solaria Hounds and 2 Reavers. They're super. Yeah, they are actually quite enjoyable. And I was a bit, when I first took them out, I was a little bit like, oh, these aren't actually too bad. Them's the babies minus the Fabius Knights. Again, my Knights I need to get playing with as well a bit more. I just need to get more games full stop, or obviously do a little get together with some of my friends to play.
For sure, with that many models and stuff, it's like, God, you can play anything you want basically.
Yeah, you've got options, and that's what I always like when I build armies. I like to have the options to play different styles with the models and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so, if I lived out there, we'd be real good friends because I'd be like, hey, Lee. I was thinking about running this Titan force, but I don't happen to have any Titans.
Yeah. But I know a man who has. Quick, let's go to Leeds.
Wait, you were at that? You didn't play any games or anything at that convention this weekend, did you?
No, I was purely there. I purely go there to socialize. I can honestly remember I can count on my hand how many stalls I actually visited and looked at stuff. So apart from Zinj Industries where Ben was working, and Squiddo, where my friend and Annie, who owns Bad Squiddo, were. Went there, and Wayland Games, because I've got a couple of friends who work for Wayland Games, so I always see how they're doing and check in on stuff. So they were the 3 main places I went to, because I got I got in there early because I like to get there early to queue up, so I'm near the front of the queue and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. But as I'm walking along, I'm taking a box of Titans with me to put into the painting competition. And as I'm walking along, I've seen this guy who's called James Otaro, and he's like a commission painter dude.
Yeah.
I've never spoken to him. I recognise him because he's easily recognisable. I thought, oh, to my head, that's James Otaro. And his voice goes, I think you're in here, mate. And I turned round, and there was this old man's like security guy. Like he's in his like must be in his mid-60s,
Yeah.
sitting there, and he's pointing to this door, like a little door, not the main door, it's just a little door.
Yeah.
And I've just gone, oh, is that Salute? And he went, yeah. So I just walked in. I was at like 9 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't open until 10. And so I was walking around seeing all the stores where my friends were. And they're going, how'd you get in here? So I just walked in.
Oh, look at you sneaking in like the good old
Yeah,
days.
yeah. So I just said, like, don't you know who I am?
Don't you know who I am? You could have
Yeah,
seen my work.
yeah. But yeah, no, it was really good. I entered my some of my Krytos Titans in to the painting competition, but I got done. They basically they changed. I entered them as a unit, sci-fi unit, which
Okay.
was between 5 to 40 models,
All
up to
right.
40 millimeters. So I would naturally assume that means scale, because on the listings
Yeah.
before he said 54 millimeter scale and this, that, and the other. But the person who was entering it was going to enter it into there. But then they said, oh, because one of my magnets came off, so I had to go and buy some super glue to repair it,
Yeah.
which cost me like £7.55 for some super glue. Um, and I've gone back, and they went, oh, we've had to move it because it's bigger than 40 millimeter. And I went, but it's an 8 millimeter scale model. It's just big, but it's eight
Yeah.
millimeters. And they said, oh, we've had to put it into miscellaneous category. So there's like 13 categories. So like
Yep.
single miniatures, squads, fantasy, and all that stuff. And I looked in what was in the miscellaneous, and it is basically like, not even stuff like that. It's like the busts of like people and
Oh
diorama
yeah. So it's
and
not
like
like a
the really
yeah.
like in-depth, hard-working stuff. And you just look at it and go, I shouldn't be in this bit here. There's like 5, 6 titans standing there, and you've got this like diorama of like some sort of like fantasy figure doing something or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, and I just thought, well, I'm not going to get anything out of this, because I was banking on the fact that being in a squad unit battle force type thing, they
Hmm.
would look quite good, and people would just go, "Hey, they look quite good for a squad
Yeah.
unit battle thing," and maybe I would have scraped in with a third place or something.
Hmm.
Um, but no, it wasn't to be.
It wasn't to be. Oh, that's
They
cool. So
did
at
give,
least you got to put something in. So hey, whatever.
they did arrange. They did take out some of the models and put them onto a table where they were doing the presentation. So I'm assuming that was like, oh, these didn't win, but these are really good. So look at these type thing, because there was still stuff in the glass cases. So
Hmm.
uh, it might have just been like, oh, these are like, they didn't quite make their places. They made the final judgment, but didn't make a place, didn't place or anything. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll take consolation in that in my miscellaneous category.
Good. That counts. Dude, because there's so much good painting and everything out there, and a lot of it is just, subjective, what judges are looking for or anything else. So,
And I'm just checking in the conversation. Like, obviously, you got Heidi Ho with Crimson, but Clayton saying if Artist Empire was any closer, we'd
I
play so
would.
many systems.
Yeah, yeah, and I would too, because now it's literally like there's maybe one, maybe two people that would play around me, you know, And if I had more, I probably would. So whatever, I'll end up back to it because I can just tell after got like a year and a half of hardcore talking to everyone about games and seeing everyone's miniatures is what like Clayton. I mean, he got crazy good through the last year, like his painting and everything. I see this, and he already started like he doesn't like stress his painting, so he would paint fast, and then to watch him do that for the whole time and to see how good he got after this is pretty crazy to me.
Mm. Yeah, no, as I say, it's people how they develop is such an amazing thing. Like where I've met well, of course I've met people, but my
I've
friend
met people.
I've
Toss that
met
out
people.
there.
Um, pardon me. My friend Alex, his son um, Rick. I met him a couple of years ago for the first time when he was about 13, 14.
Hmm.
And he was already painting at a level like if I looked back at how I was painting at his age, because
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the age I was starting to get into the hobby, and it's just like so well done. It was just like, oh my god, if you continue from this point, you're going to be pretty awesome. You know,
Yeah. I
learning from like YouTube videos
It
now,
does
and
have to be like, I was thinking of it like from someone who just started out, like, okay, I got involved in community, but I already had lots of like art experience, and I see it and I'm like, okay, yes, like I look at some of these, whatever it is, it can be art, it can be the painted miniatures, it can be whatever it is, and I mean, there's some amazing work out there, and I do think, I mean, it can be so intimidating, to share your stuff. And if like you just start out and then here's someone like, oh, Richard Gray, and you look at that stuff, you're like, oh God, what am I painting? I look at my miniature and be like, oh gosh. And I see a couple people like, talk about that. And I was thinking, I was like, man, yeah, with that, just the modern age and all the stuff you can see, I could see it being very easily to be like, just, I don't know, overwhelmed or intimidated or whatever.
well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like having that sort of artistic background is handy on so many levels. But it's sort of crazy when you see someone like Richard Gray. I at the last salute back in 2019 was the one where he took in his Mortarian, which is sort of become sort of legend because it's the one
Yeah.
that has the eyeballs on the wings. Um,
Oh yeah,
and,
I know exactly which one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you've seen the pictures; they look amazing. Seeing it in real life is
Yeah.
just
Whole
even
different
more.
ball game.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, there was so much really great sort of work down there. So as I said, the other sort of painting competition when I entered into the Golden Demon Heresy Weekender, it was just basically on the spur of the moment because I saw a friend going to do it, and I got a finalist pin, and I'm like standing there going.
I forgot I made little. I'm like, dude, I gotta use these more. So I was like to pop that up there in case anyone forgot. I'll toss that one
I've
out there.
seen in Warhammer
Yeah. See,
465.
that's what it's advanced advertising. That right there was advanced advertising. What you
You know,
saw
you
go
know, I
down.
mentioned that I was in White Dwarf
Did I uh
462.
did I mention I was in White Dwarf 465? That's what I laughed because I like the pseudo um they were talking about everyone was like, hey, your pictures, they were sharing like quote your age in your photo or whatever. Well, the first funny part about that is they said that, and then I thought about my age. I did not know what my age was at that point. I seriously did not. I was like, oh my God, I seriously do not know my age. It was like one year or the other, but I couldn't, I had to like run the numbers in my head to figure it out because I had totally forgot. And then the other thing was, I was like, oh gosh, I wanted to reply. And I always worry about how it's going to come off. Like, I don't take myself seriously. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't, but I want to be like, if you want to see my photo, you could just look, see it at a White Dwarf 465. Like,
Yeah,
put it in one
well,
of there.
that's the first time I actually saw your face. So I was like, that's what?
Yeah, exactly.
That's him.
That's
That's
it.
the dude I've been talking to,
That's
sharing
it.
my secret.
That's who you're talking to all the time.
Yeah, it's like that's why I put up on that thing, put a picture of yourself and your age. That's why I put down Gandalf.
Yeah.
24,000 years old, Gandalf.
God,
Nice.
I'm having so much
Thank
fun
you,
right now,
Arkaton.
though.
Thank you. Love you too.
And then that's right, Clayton. Okay, so he painted this. He's only been painting basically 3 years, he said. And I forgot because we had talked about that before. So I'm like, yeah, this is awfully impressive for that. I love everything. This is one of those that I don't know what it is. Like because it's the blend of the colors, it's like the orange comes up on there and I thought the lighting was just like brilliant and I don't know, like everything on this is just really cool. I mean, it's seriously one of my favorite models I've seen around here. Oh, wait, Clayton, you're here. Is this does this come with two heads or is this a one-headed model that's a conversion? I did not know because I don't think I've ever seen the two-headed one. Or I'm just blind.
Is it a standard sort of GW
Yeah.
order change? Because I know that it came with two heads. Or is that Keros Fate Weaver, isn't it? That's two heads. Yeah, it comes with two heads. Yeah.
Oh, it does. Okay. Huh.
Gosh. Little tabletop minion said something really important that we can't be all like top tier painters, but it's the people that get the most kicks and therefore they are shown. No clicks, sorry. For what
Yeah.
you kick?
I get my kicks out of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I know, like I obviously when I've been posting up my stuff, like I always do the normal sort of like hashtags like Warhammer community,
Yeah, yeah.
War Maidens, War Anthem, or Wandem, as my go-to sort of thing. But the last time I got sort of featured on sort of like the Warhammer TV, hobby hangout type thing was back in about March, April when it was doing the March from the Crack thing.
Yep.
So yeah, and that was it. It was just like that, and I think I've been on it maybe another 2 or 3 times for various things, but yeah, they're getting so many sort of like hashtags now, and everyone's cottoned on how to do it. That it is like a draw. I know, like Engine Phil, who's just
Yeah.
he does some amazing work with his Titans and
He really
stuff.
does.
But he's I don't think he's actually featured yet on any of the things.
No, I don't
Which
think so. Yeah, yeah.
I think they've got black mark against him because he's he the things that he does. Oh my god.
Well, wait, okay. Oh, no. Engine Phil, and we're gonna do a stream Saturday too, right?
Who, we or Engine Phil?
No, you and I and
Me, you and Ben.
yeah, Ben.
Yeah. It's a bonus this weekend. One weekend only.
Yeah, one weekend only. We're gonna have a special Saturday stream.
Yeah, because
Because
I'm
why
on my
not?
I need people to supervise me. Keep me out of trouble.
Dun dun dun. I gotta have it. The effect, like sky is kind of part. I don't know. I gotta pull this off. That's the good
Edward
ones about the free ones. It's like, hey man, it was free. What do you expect?
Large Marge sent me. I mean, 10 ghosts.
Pew. That is
Yes.
kind of a little pew pew gun, but it looks like it shoots a nice dart through you.
It's a Archaeotech pistol. He has 2 of them. Because with Korax, he doesn't just have one weapon; he has many. So, like where certain like Primarchs have like legendary weapons, such as like a World Breaker,
Yeah.
or the Lair sword, or the Lion sword, and all that sort of stuff. Korax just has a panoply or
Yeah, Panoply. Yeah.
panoply of the Raven, which basically includes his claws, his pistols, and he's got a whip because he has his whip hanging on the back, because that's what a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
people were sort of like, when his model came out, there was a lot of people moaning that he weren't holding his whip.
Okay.
Uh, and it's just like, well, in the pose, you can't really wield a whip that well,
Well,
because
how would
normally,
you would, I guess you would have to, if you were doing it, your whip would be up, and as soon as your foot hit for the resistance, if you were doing a whip thing, you would bring a whip forward then on this particular one. But yeah, I
you know,
mean, a whip would be hard just because of the piece.
yeah, and to say, because he's coming down at speed with
Mm-hmm.
his pinions uh, in the back there, sort of thing. So normally, like when you're using a whip, you plant your legs to in
Yeah.
order to maximum force. So it wouldn't have really have worked trying to do that. And plus, having a resin whip is going to
Yeah,
break
I know.
really.
That's gonna be snapped just in the
Hmm.
shipping.
But yeah, so he's basically got a mix of weapons, and he just goes around and just slays people. Like I've killed a few other Primarchs with Corax. He's a
Okay,
really
can
good.
in game can a if like a Primarch model fought what like an Armiger, how does that go down? Like who has the advantage in that? Is it like, oh, a Primarch would smack around an Armiger or
Primarchs are very tough. So even against knights, they are quite tough.
formidable? Okay, so they can
Yeah,
okay.
they're hard to kill in general, because they're like, Eternal Warrior helps out in their survivability, plus their invulnerable saves and stuff.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but as I said, like Corax killed Fulgrim, who's he's a great swordsman, is Fulgrim,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got really good high initiative. But it was just because it was the first turn of combat when he came in, they were on a level initiative. Um, and when Corax uses his Panoply of War of the Raven, he has the blind rule, and Fulgrim failed the roll. He rolled a 1. So he was blinded. So he went immediately to initiative 1. So that was it. He was dead. Because beforehand, he was just like hitting everything, killing everything, and being nasty.
Yeah.
Um,
Wait, Overton asked me, that's bad of me. I finished that Overton, but where is it now? Wait, where did I do his a while back? Oh, this one should be his. This one's it, right, Overton? I gotta get it to you. I'm so horrible. He's like one of the biggest horrors. Like I did all this and then like never even I got all busy and didn't post any of the this finished image for him. So I will definitely get you this. I believe this one's yours. It should be. Or I'm even
this one
worse of a
actually reminds
person.
me of like the salamander. Like I know it's not the salamanders, but it reminds me of
Yeah.
like Salamander Dreadnought at Istvan 5, because like the artwork that you see for the Istvan 5 in the Forge World books is very similar, with like the flames everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I went with the orange because I was like, okay, the yellow will still stand out, and I was like, if he's on something, like make it like it's really like some. The one I really like, I like how that came out. I thought that did pretty good for like you're firing the rocket and it still got the motion and stuff. I like that part of it. I'll have to get that one.
Phil's saying that Sanguinius took a Warhound out in the fluff. Phil, he's done more than that. He's actually probably killed more Titans than Titans have in in the black in the novel series. I think he's done about 3 or 4. One of them being an Imperator. Um,
He took really?
yeah, well,
Uh,
okay, he had help,
well,
but
yeah.
he basically he went he's him and his sanguinary guard attacked an Imperator, and he made a hole in the head, jumped through it, or fell through it with his
Yeah.
wings behind him, killed the crew, and then the sanguinary guard that were with him went and placed melter bombs around the command of the head,
Okay.
destroyed the head, so it wouldn't work anymore. So that's a kill.
Yeah.
So he's totally claiming that, but yeah, he's killed a couple of Titans on his own, where he just literally just goes up and just kills the crew.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah, if you can cut a hole and get in, and then go kill the
yeah,
crew. Once you're in, it's not like I don't think much is in there is going to stop a Primarch.
yeah. Fulgrim has killed a warhound by again shooting the crew through the windows.
Oh yeah.
So he just got his pistol out and just pew, 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 killed the
Pew
crew.
pew.
It doesn't move. The only character that I know of that killed a Titan with a close combat weapon,
Yeah, like just going in and beating it around. Yeah.
yeah, is a warsmith of the Iron Warriors called Foryx, and that was actually in Storm of Iron. And
Okay.
he was running away from something, ran out into a street just as a warhound was stomping past, and through his momentum, he just twatted its ankle with its thunder hammer, broke its ankle, so it stumbled and fell. So
Okay. Yeah.
that's a kill.
Thanks for joining us, Toffee Troll. Appreciate you swinging by. Have a good evening. I know Toffee's in Sweden, so I'm sure it's getting a little late there. Might be having dinner
He's
or
like an
something.
hour ahead.
Yeah.
It's like 8 o'clock. It's only 9 o'clock out there. It's
Okay, yeah,
dark.
so it's 9. What are you doing leaving? You gotta stay. It's early enough to stay here. What's going on?
He's got to fix some stuff at home.
Yeah, what's going on?
Grass. I just hurt my
Oh, this is
elbow.
kind of cool. I dig it. Okay, there's a little bit of a streaming sunlight effect going on here. Like make his wings pop a little bit and get some little because now I can do some of these and I pre-plan the effects I'm going to use for a video if I do like a motion version. So now I'm like, okay, I know some of the effects and like how would it work if I do a paint over. So now I kind of I work that into the flow as far as all right, I'm probably going to add motion to it. So what would be a good paint over for that and all that good stuff.
Yes, that's sort of like the holy aura of the emperor.
Yeah,
It
yeah, I
was
want a little bit of.
when Korax met the emperor. Literally, he just led a sort of a rebellion, which they took over the Ravenspire, which was a moon called Deliverance above the planet of Kievar, where the Raven Guard hail from. But basically, it was a prison facility.
Yeah.
He'd been living there for a few years with the prisoners, because most of the prisoners were sort of, yes, there were some murderers and whatever, but there was also a lot
Yeah.
of political sort of prisoners in there as
Yeah.
well. And he basically got working with them and led them to freedom by capturing the facility, which conveniently had weapon systems and nukes, and then they bombed Kievar, and basically said, "Yeah, we can do this at will. You want to surrender?" And then he did, and then the Emperor turned up, and he met the Emperor. And it's like as the Emperor's come off of his shuttle in this like landing bay, like everybody's like looking at this being of light and gold and like going, oh, and like, whereas Korax sees this old man,
Oh yeah.
and they spent 24 hours together, like talking about how are you, and, and basically
What's
learning about
going
each
on in
other
life?
and finding out stuff. But the thing was that Korax remembers the Emperor from his time in the incubation chambers.
Oh.
So like the Emperor goes, just like raises an eyebrow, goes, that's interesting, because like as far as he knew,
Yeah.
he remembered or anything, but it was just like Korax remembered looking out of the little glass thing and seeing his face looking in.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But Korax has like the Emperor's intellect, so he's very, very smart
Mm-hmm.
cookie, which is dangerous when you're a sort of a guerrilla fighter as well.
Well, yeah, that's the ultimate hit and run. That's kind of the whole, yeah. Wow, 10
And
people.
he
Thanks a
also
lot
defeated
for
Guerrilla War Games 3 times.
So, thanks a lot for joining. And just out of curiosity, Mechanical Frog, are you hobbying right now? So, if you're hobbying right now, let me know what you're working on. Just kind of curious.
There was
Just curious.
Troll was working on some orky stuff, as he often does.
Yeah, Toffee. Oh, he did. Wait, I think Toffee Troll. He'll probably post it in the Discord again at some point. He did. I think it was Toffee Troll. If not, everyone knows I can't remember anything. It was a orc dreadnought. It was a dreadnought, but it was like, a orc one. So he took a dreadnought and converted it to be like a captured orc one, and it actually looks really cool.
Yeah, that's what he was finishing off earlier on.
Okay, so Frog's working on his son's Dragonkin D&D figure. Mechanical Frog, I think he went partly off the deep end with the 3D printer. He posted a pic of like 30 battle mechs all printed and stuff. So it's got like I don't know how much. I'm like, I tell everyone, I'm like, the only thing I would do is like, if 3D printing isn't going away, so I'm going to invest in resin, like the components that go in it, because that stuff will be going up in price. Engine
Mm.
Phil's painting Gabo and Bouncer. Awesome.
I think that's
Pro J,
the Christmas one.
is that the
Christmas.
Christmas one?
Gobbo.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh
they've
yeah,
done
painting Red Gabo. Yeah, Red Gabo. Got you. I was like, oh,
like.
Pro JG is neck deep in work. Well,
Oh,
it's gotta get done. Overton is
over Tom.
highlighting a Tech Marine and having a hobby beer.
Bobby
Oh,
Beer.
oh, I need a hobby beer.
You don't drink when we do these. No,
No,
that's what
because I'm so I don't even know what's going on in my life. It's like, oh, it's at work, and I take it all like serious and be like, I don't even and not like in a bad way. It's just I'm like, whatever. But I'll have to have one day. I'm allowed.
you're the sober one.
Yeah, because I'd probably put
I
it all
just
down.
drink and know
I would
stuff.
have, yeah, I would have one drink, but forget these paint overs. I ain't working on this stuff.
They look so good.
Yeah.
The glow off of the lava and all that is just
Yeah,
the
I
way
gotta,
it
I
was
gotta,
painted well when you just accentuated it with the all like the heat
Cause
of the fire.
yeah, that's what I gotta get. I gotta get more glowed. Like I don't know how to do it yet. I think it's gonna be another layer and overlay where I'll bump up. I want that glow to be more like that little aura, because you would see it off that hot lava. And I mean, they did that. That base is one of my favorite lava bases. So all I did was I took the you can see it here. I just took part of that base and I blew it up and added another section down here. So this is basically the same part of the base, just made to look bigger. So I just kind of extended it down there because I wanted to use it. It was such a beautiful composition that that's why I try not to add too much. I even looked at it, I was like, man, are you getting a little kooky with too much lava down there? And I'm like, no, if I do the haze right and do like the heat coming off, I think it's gonna work really good. And this is one of my like this is one to me it's like just so beautiful that then I kind of half stress it and be like, okay, let me put this in and I gotta try this and get that to work. And but I think I can do it because I want there'll be some like the good glow on that top post, right? Because that'll be like the nice glow in the dark sky, and then the same kind of with his helmet and his eye wings. So those will be the bright points in the dark sky, and then I want the bottom lighter with like that, the cloak at the bottom and his legs like to be the dark part and stuff. Because this thing is freaking beautiful. And what did these cost? This is like gotta be another expensive ass miniature.
Um, I think because they do them in plastic now, so
Oh, do they?
they're not as expensive as they used to be, like resin, but they're still going to be
Yeah.
sort of because they're quite big models as well.
Yeah, that's what I was
So
gonna say. That's a big.
they'll be about that much. I
Yeah,
have no idea.
yeah.
I,
Oh no,
I only deal with Titans nowadays. I don't
I
do.
only deal with Titans.
What about the Titans?
No,
Hmm.
see, Overton, what's funny is no one does. He has to. Has everyone said you totally went too far on this one? No, and I always debate, and what's weird is when I do it, sometimes I'm like, yeah, I should put all this in. And then as I work on it and I'll put a lot of stuff in, I just have to edit down because I'm like, oh, dude, it just gets kind of like a little muddied or something to me. I'm like, hey, keep it like, especially a lot of these are just so beautiful that it's like, okay, keep all the focus on their little highlights and their stuff. And if you do backgrounds, kind of just indicate it. You know what I mean? Don't get too crazy. So and I keep trying it, and the more I do it and try it, I'm like, yeah, it's almost like that less is more kind of deal. But to answer your question, no, that's just a self-induced whatever I have. That's like most of my things are always like made up in my head. You know what I mean? Like my worries. I'm like, dude, no one's even said anything, and like, what are you worried about? I get all nervous. I've done like hundreds of these. I still get nervous.
That's the thing. It's like with every sort of model that you've done a paint over for, like all the models have been really, really well painted.
Yeah,
And it's great seeing the different sort of styles and how people approach their models. Because like sometimes I've looked at models and just go, oh, I wouldn't even thought of using those sort
yeah,
of
no,
colours.
there's a ton like
But,
that.
you know,
Yeah,
it is a kind of it is sort of like a learning experience when you see how other people look at a model, and then
mm-hmm.
you wonder like, how did you come to this sort of point to do that sort of style, those sort of shades, and just
Yeah,
make it tying together, and it makes you think, and then you can use those thoughts that you thought, like, yeah, I'm going to experiment and
yep.
see what I can do, and maybe I can use it somewhere else with one of my projects. So
Because it's funny. That's one of the few things I don't get jealous about much. But one of the things that I will get jealous of, I always have to check. I'm like, if someone has a really good idea that I know I wouldn't have thought of, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, they put this in that combo. I'm like, oh, I would have never thought about that. And that just like bums me out when that happens. They'll have some combo. I'm like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have thought of that. I'm like,
it
that's
seems
why.
so simple when you think
Yeah,
about
yeah, that's it. I'm like, dude, how would I not? And it's like, oh. But it's
it.
good. I learned a whole ton from this.
Yeah.
Dun,
You're
dun,
not using the
dun.
stealth tip.
Oh, and I did play. I have been using the VR golf, man. That Oculus thing. I think I will be using it this summer or winter or whatever I'm in. I got some. It takes me like maybe it's like 20 minutes or so to golf like 9 holes, and it's some exercise. I was like, okay, man, that was like standing there swinging the fake golf club and everything. So I was worried when I got it that I might not uh use it. I hate doing that. Like if I spend money on something and then don't use it, and I think I'll end up using it. And the other thing, oh my God, that's really going to kick me into overdrive with trying to draw in there. So there's stuff where, like, basically an artist would make a lot of them have motion and other things. They'll make like a little room or like a little video that it's kind of painted all around you. So it's like a 3D painting, almost looks like a 3D model, and it'll be all around you. And then just different artists have them posted, and you can go into them and check them out. Oh my God, dude. It's like the fact that you're standing and it looking around was just it's still like mind-blowing to me. There's this one where I went into the picture and it's a full-on painting, and there's like a character in front of you, and it's like a shaman looking thing, and it's standing and it's got its hand out like like a stop motion, right? So like the hand is like saying stop, and that shaman was right in front of you. And then you turn around and look, and there's like a 20-foot tall or 15-foot tall wolf that's growling right at you. And you just turn around, there's this like huge looming thing, and it's like it really how it how it interacts with my brain, or what it triggers like on a visceral level, because you're seeing it as you look around. I think that's why to me it's not going anywhere, and I'm like, yeah, I want to play with this because I'll be able to make some like kind of cool environments later, and not now, I'll be busy, but I want to keep just learning it and playing with it, so that maybe in a couple years I might be doing more with it or whatever.
You'll be in the Matrix.
Yeah, I'll be in the Matrix. Oh, but it's in Clayton be like, first one's free, then you must pay. Also, he apologizes. Sorry for not interacting in your Discord, Lee, but I suck at using Discord. I know how it is on different
Dude,
systems.
I'm gonna say I'm not really on. I'm on Discord, but I'm there on occasions.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, having a Discord channel and being present on said Discord channel sort of thing. It's just whenever someone posts up there, then I'll reply.
yeah,
Like, if they put kind of a picture on the whip of something, then yeah, you're always like, oh, that's cool, and just see what they're doing and stuff. But yeah, it's I think because it's a very small Discord, so
yeah.
obviously
Same with mine.
until you get like critical mass, like with Artist Empire.
My sealed off one that I just keep small. I'm like, oh well. I know I should open it. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
all, yeah. You just say that's the whole thing. Is it's the communication. You don't have to communicate. There's no obligation to communicate. If you want
Hmm.
to, you're welcome. But yeah, it's like with everything, really. Yes. He also agrees. See how different people paint the same stuff. It's inspiring to see. Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's what it's
someone.
about.
Was it in the White Dwarf or the GW? I don't know. They sent out like to some of the whatever influencer type people, some of the Titans, and one of them did. They converted it and did the like it was like the one hand was like all bloody. It looked like tentacles,
Yeah,
and
that
so
was
was the.
true.
Oh gosh, I love that thing.
Yeah, he actually when I went up and done my thing in mid October when I put all my Titans out at Warhammer World,
Yeah.
I met with Rue because he works there, obviously.
Oh, I didn't
And
know
he's
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's actually I know he's got a job with Black Library.
Okay.
Um, Rue used to write up the little like guardsman sort of primer report things, um, where
Uh.
there's some like Warhammer community and like he does the humorous sort of little
Yeah.
righty bits. But he's now actually working for Black Library as of last week, I believe.
Oh, good for
Yeah, when I was
him.
up there, he actually showed me a picture of his work in progress on that Titan. I just thought because Rue is such a creative,
Yeah.
especially like with conversion work. If you haven't seen Rue's House Malanax Nights, they are something else. They are
Okay,
just
really?
so
That comes a lot. Okay, so I already know I have to check them out. If that's coming from you, then I know I'm like, okay, I
yeah.
should go
No,
check those out.
and the thing is, he's such a nice, friendly person as well.
Hmm.
He's a really nice person. Absolutely love him. Also hate him because of how talented he is with the conversion. You just see
Yeah,
how the hell did you make that? Oh, I
yeah.
did. But yeah, he's such a really nice and his wife Sarah. She's I used to do a lot of artist work for Games Workshop, White Dwarf, and all that
Okay.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
And she's I met them for the first time at the Leisure Walks event last year because Rue was playing in it and
Yeah.
Sarah came down to cheer him on, sort of thing. And during one of the breaks, I was with him for about 25, 30 minutes just chatting. And Sarah had a little, because she's an artist, she's got this little
Hmm.
book she carries with her where she does little sketches and
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
And fantastic. Just have a look. I'm like, oh my
Yep.
God, this is brilliant. I don't know if some of the people might remember a few months back, you've seen like loads of sort of Warhammer 40k characters, but as cats. So like Imperial Guardsman cat, and then like
Yeah.
Anika's cat. That was her. She's a really
Okay.
cute, like kittens, but in like Guardsman uniform, saluting and stuff like that. It's brilliant. Yeah, Rue got
Um,
Clayton to Painting Titans. Regimental
s-
Standard. Cheers, Overton.
I was supposed to, when you brought up Black Library, I was supposed to mention. Did I mention I'm in Black Library? Every time it comes up, we gotta plug it for no reason.
But what were you
Oh,
in the Black Library for?
oh,
Was
it
he?
snuck in. It was like I did a couple trading cards for the one game. So one I did a dwarf. gyrocopter for the fantasy, and then I did like a gun battery for the Horus Heresy. So then when they compiled the books, like I think it's like the Horus Heresy Visions books or something or whatever, they took some of that card art and put it in there, and one of my, art for the card got in that book. So then it's in the Black Library, and then then I'll have to like whatever that and White Dwarf plug it everywhere for no reason. But yeah, that was
But,
quite a while ago. 13. I don't even know how many years ago. That's right.
well,
That's right, Overton. Here, wait,
I'm in the
Overton.
Black Library.
I gotta put, yeah, I should put that in one of these. Here, this one's for you. That's for Overton.
Because I'm not sure if I've actually told you. I actually have a character in one of the heresy
You
books.
you did, and that's like actually I love that fact. That's a really cool. That's I don't know. It's like a creative person and someone who, that's something really enjoyable. You just have a little knick-knack like that and you get it in a book. And I mean, come on, plus for you, it's like, all right, you've you've done a lot of stuff. You're always out there. You paint a lot of Titans. You're up there. You're everything. So it's just to me, that's a pretty neat thing to
I,
have.
I just know lots of people, and people seem to like me for some strange reason. But yeah, so if you ever read the story Calf That Was by Graham McNeill, which is in the anthology book The Mark of Calf, there's a character called Captain Octavian Brucius, and that's a character that is basically what I named. I begged and pleaded and said, please let me know the character. And so
And if anyone else who's listening, you can talk about how you're a big deal too. You can chime in with any. It's not just for us to toot our own horn. Everyone can toot their horn here. It's all
yeah,
good.
this is a
Yeah,
horn-free zone.
yeah,
There's
it's a
not a
horn.
horn-free
It's
zone. We're
it's
encouraging to horn.
a horn toot zone. You're allowed to toot your
Yeah,
own
toot,
horn. Toot
toot,
away.
everybody toot.
You're allowed
What's
to
your
toot.
best achievement within the hobby, be it Forge World, Black Library, Games Workshop, whatever? What is your big bad thing that you've got? Come on, we've all got something.
Yeah, everybody. I was like, come on. Yeah, most people in here have been in the hobby longer than, well, I don't know about more than me. I wouldn't necessarily say longer, but at least more.
A bunch of constantly toot their own horn. However, it's important to let everyone know you own a horn from time to time. And Toffee Troll with the toot toot. He's still here, still with the toots.
No, it's shooting. Speaking of people knowing people, I got playing a game against Simon Grant from the GW team on my bucket list. Oh, that's a cool one. Hand painted Warlord Titan, no airbrush. Clayton, you kind of are a little crazy for that. I appreciate. I approve. Yeah.
That is the way of the princeps. You know, it's not all airbrush. I say I use an airbrush when doing stenciling because painting over it will make it look absolutely rubbish. But yeah, I own airbrushes, but I don't. I literally only use them for doing like once upon a time, just doing base coats because it was quicker.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, now I just use rattle cans, which is even quicker.
Mm-hmm.
If only there was a way to airbrush trim.
You got anything? You got anything special planned for your weekend or anything, dude?
Yeah, well, Saturday I'm going to be doing a live stream with this guy called Artist Empire.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, if I better remind you, seeing as like we've been talking to you, you go, oh, is it this weekend?
Yeah.
With special guest hosts, Benjamin Greaves.
That was pretty fun.
Guest.
It'll be cool. I'm kind of I'm excited about that because then he also knows a lot about the games and stuff, and so he was sharing some stories last time we were on, and I know you guys sort of know each other a little bit or whatever.
Yeah,
so
we are friends. So
right on.
Although he lives miles, because it's me and him that formed the Tyrannus Owners Club.
Really?
Back in 2015. along with my friend Scott Charnick,
Okay.
because we just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And the stars aligned, the sun came out, the clouds parted, there was trumpets playing for tooting, and it became a thing in the presence of awesomeness. But
Well,
yeah, so
good. So then
that's
we'll
my
have a.
Saturday sorted out. Friday night, I'm meeting a friend for a game of Adeptus Titanicus.
Oh, you
After,
are. Okay.
yeah, so
That's good. I
um,
mean, I'm overdue for something. I gotta go play some sort of game or it just and I've been like busy or whatever. I have gone a few things. It's just so weird for me right now because then I just really feel like I want, it's like, okay, I want to be working on this stuff and I want to be doing it. So then when I go away for a little bit, I get all, I don't know, antsy or whatever.
it's the withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah, it is. I'm like, okay, that because
Because that's the thing. You don't realise that I've managed to lace the interweb with
for
cocaine.
sure.
We're all addicted. You know,
It
this
is.
Wednesday nights with all the guys and girls in the chat and watching you work whilst I'm drinking. It's a
Yeah.
very unique show. I find I don't. We cater for drunks
Yeah, I have
and
no. Yeah.
creatives.
We like the lowbrow. I'm a lowbrow. Like, yeah, that's
I'm
my
so
crowd.
low.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
so
need.
easy maintenance as well. It's just low
That's what
maintenance.
I
Sorry.
was really impressed with this community from the standpoint of like the people I interact with. Like, I don't come across a lot of people with like, I don't know, something to prove. A lot of people, and I used to see it in hobby, I don't know, maybe even like 20 years ago. It's like the people who really wanted to express their, well, I know all this, or I know all that, or my painting technique is superior. I've interacted with a ton of people and I don't come across much of that at all. So, like, I like to hang out and have fun. That's kind of it for me. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, I got to be some impressive artist where everyone should know my name. It's like, I want to hang out with people and have fun. You know what I mean? I don't care about that stuff. So, that was the surprising part where I think there's a lot of people who feel similar. So that was been the, a huge pleasant surprise for me. I'm like, okay, I'll, definitely have chats and stuff like that because I don't know, people are just fun and easy going with this stuff for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part, you say everyone is pretty cool.
Hmm.
Like your like Twitter Spaces, what you've been putting on,
Yeah.
it's come on there has been, you know,
That's been growing a little bit too. And I think it is going to be Tuesday. I guess I figure Tuesday will be good. I should probably do the voice on Tuesday because then I'll also usually do the tweet that talks about free paint over day. So it's probably a good day to have it because if that tweet goes around, they'll see the little glowing symbol and maybe they come into the voice chat. So I think it'll be a regularly scheduled Tuesday, even though I'll end up doing Mondays too. But I'll schedule Tuesday and then do that for Twitter hobby chat. I think that worked for a few people who were in it as well.
yes.
Hour and a half. You got what? Are you watching anything before? Do you chill out in the evening and like watch TV, or is that like do you like paint miniatures, or you probably don't have too much
I
time?
take miniatures whilst watching or listening to music. So I'm up to date on Foundation now. So I've caught up.
Oh, I liked the last episode.
Yeah, I'm actually, because I've been recently exposed to the books or audio books of
Mm-hmm.
Foundation and all that. Um, that's why I said like it seemed to have changed from what the books were,
Yeah.
but now I see where they're going with it, and I'm actually like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. Um, so yeah, it's not. It's been a well made series, um, and they've taken like the stuff, the background of the whole Foundation thing,
Yeah.
and they're using it in a different way to make it a little bit more doable, I suppose.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, no, I've enjoyed it so far. I am thinking of actually just restarting watching The Expanse from the start because we've got like 3 weeks until the new season starts.
Oh
So
yeah.
binge your way through all those episodes again.
I mean, and then Wheel of Time. Oh gosh, I'm nervous, but
Oh yeah, that starts in 2 days' time.
is
Oh my
that only
god,
2 days away?
two
Yeah.
days to go. So, but then Wheel of Time again is actually a short season. It's only about 6 episodes, I think.
Okay.
Same as The Expanse. Um, we've also got Witcher coming back
Oh,
in
I liked.
December.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with Witcher. My bar is, I'm not gonna say it's super low, but I don't expect like the greatest of show. Like, give me some clean storytelling. And my one pet peeve, man, the one that kind of really gets me, that is hard to look past, is that they'll do like something told, like some fantasy story, right? And then all the clothing always looks like it's totally been pressed and is like this clean velvet after someone's been walking around in it like every day for like half a year, and then it's still like this nice clean, and I could see if it's like the rich people or all that, but that's kind of one of my pet peeves that like really like messes with me if I see it too much in a show where you're like, oh, here's it comes off as like almost amateurish for the show. So I
Mm.
hope I hope that
That's the thing,
uh,
is you do get like certain like shows, I think it was the Shania Chronicles.
That's what that's funny that you bring it up. That's the exact one I was thinking of. What was going to be your thought? Because I was thinking of the same show, and I want to know why you brought it up.
It's similar to what you're saying. It's like everyone's wearing really like well-made, nice
Yeah.
outfits, and it's meant to be sort of, it's in some respects like certain things. Like, have you been watching C on Apple?
See, no, I haven't started. I should watch the second season. I never watched the second season. No.
Yeah, so like with that, it has that. Which it sounds weird. It's like, how these people are dressing in such wonderful outfits, and yet they're all blind.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. They're all like perfectly color coordinated and
yeah, um, but at least their stuff is a little bit sort of like, worn a bit. But
hmm
that's the thing, is where you have, um, you know the collapse of society and all that sort of stuff. Like not Evil Dead, Walking Dead. Even in that, they still
Yeah.
have fairly well maintained clothing, sort
hmm
of thing. So it's, yeah, it's a bit. Sometimes it's a little bit like, well, apart from Daryl, in he
Yeah.
just wears his jacket is falling apart. You can see that. Um, but it's like for the most part, everyone's wearing quite nice stuff, and um, yeah, it's well watched.
Overton's Witcher is my all-time favorite series. I could see it. It had some good sword fighting stuff in there too that I respected. And he said I like C, even if it's actually a bit stupid, but like the story in it. Yeah. And
Yeah,
sometimes it's
that's the thing. It's like,
so
it is a
it,
little bit stupid, but
it
it's like, well, we don't know how long everyone's been blind,
hmm
and they've obviously developed some sort of braille type communication. So maybe if some blind people actually survived to teach that or whatever,
yeah. And
like the whole thing, like,
yeah, I
yeah,
give stuff a try. So even if it's like quirky or something, I'm still be like the Shannara Chronicles or whatever. I watched some of that, and it has that it's going for like a younger vibe or whatever, but
yeah,
and that was another one that I always like. I knew the books were out there, but I never read them. But that still had some cool concepts and stuff in it. And what's funny is what sticks in my mind is one time they did a demon character that was kind of animated, and I thought that part looked really brilliant, which was funny. I was like, that was one of the cooler things. They had like this demon character, and it was like they're in the kind of like a weird warp type thing, and I thought that actually looked really good.
mm. Yeah. So sometimes you can get like some series that don't really, um, they don't have the greatest production values, but
Yeah.
sometimes they just have something about them that you sort of
hmm
push. Yeah. Uh, Initially, I don't know if you remember, there was Kevin Sorbo with Andromeda.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh gosh, I
I,
haven't thought about that in forever.
I actually watched the entire series. Like, it was like 5 seasons or something like that. It got really out there bad in the
Yep.
latter parts. Like they lost certain characters, and it sort of sometimes you lose a character, and they might have been doing it to sort of like do shock value, but the loss
Yep.
of that character actually affects the actual show. Um, so yeah, there was like the first couple of seasons were okay, and it had some like interesting little bits that they could have worked on, but then it did go a little bit like, this is
Yep.
different. And, it lost itself in its own silliness.
Yeah. They
Um,
lose the it's not easy making those shows, and everyone's attention span is so short. It's almost a sad thing because you get the inevitable drop off. You know what I mean? Just with time, it's almost like less and less people watch because life happens, and once it's usually like there's some kind of like they build up to like a mini reveal around episode like whatever 3 or 4, and then things kind of like peter out in a lot of shows.
yeah, it's like sort of strangely, it's like with The Expanse, where a lot of people I've said like you've got to watch it. It is really good sci-fi, and
Hmm.
that's it. It is a good sci-fi story. It's
Absolutely, I think
based
so.
in reality of science as well. Um, but they watch like the first couple of episodes and go, "Oh, I'm not sure about this," and I always have to say, "Look, get to episode 4, right? Because
Yeah.
episode end of episode 3, start of episode 4 is when it starts to kick in because they're giving you all the background sort of stuff
Yep.
to flesh out the universe that we're in, and then once you get to sort of episode 4, um, and it goes from there. And you say from giving up there, sort of like if you gave up there, the season like each season goes somewhere where you don't expect it to go.
Yeah, they did a yeah. There was a couple things in there that I was just not more than a couple, I guess, like that happened that I kind of wasn't expecting. You know what I mean? Like the death of what's his face.
Yeah, well, don't no spoilers.
We spoil
Yeah,
everything.
that's the
Whatever. This
thing is,
show is yeah.
like engine feel. Like we went down to Wayland Games. It was a couple of years ago now, and I was telling him and my friend Mike about The Expanse, just saying you have to watch it. And I don't think he actually has watched it. Bless him.
Yeah.
Uh, but it is like for me to watch something repeatedly. It has to be of such a great sort of story, and it's got to have
Yeah,
that
so
thing to actually keep
hmm
me interested because I don't like very rare. If I like something, I will watch it again. If you
Yep.
know what I mean. If I don't, if I've enjoyed series and go, yeah, I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it that much to sit through it again. You know,
Exactly.
it was good, but not that good. So like programs like miniseries like Chernobyl, um, I've watched about 6, 7 times
Oh
since it
wow.
was released, and I watched it 3 times on the bounce. I literally watched it once, then I watched
Yeah.
it again, then I showed my mate and watched it at work with my mate when he came in, showing him all the episodes of the thing, and it was such a great, well-made, well-acted story that just you don't get bored of it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, So yeah, so like The Expanse, I've watched multiple times. I've watched it more than like Babylon 5, Battlestar Galactica, um, any other sort of sci-fi series, even like Star Trek. Like Deep Space Nine, I've seen from start to finish once, and I've watched half of it like
See, I'm
once.
trying. I think I've done better with shows that would be on Netflix to finish. Like,
Hmm.
of course, Battlestar in the back of the day, I finished all of that. I think minus one of the little. There's some movie I got to rewatch because it was kind of like from the Cylon's perspective, and I don't think I ever saw the full version of that. And I still got to see that from.
There was yeah, there was the plan.
Yeah, I think it's the plan. So that was one. There
Yeah.
might be a one other little thing that I didn't see, but other than that, I saw kind of all of
There was a
that.
obviously they did Caprica, which
I
was
love
the
that one. I really liked that one. I wish they had that to me had some great sci-fi because it was the whole virtual kind of thing, and I can see why it was canceled, but I still that had some great concepts that I wish like dude, I wish you had time to explore that one because I really dug that.
but they also did Blood and Chrome, which was a mini series,
Hmm.
only like 3 episodes or something like that. But that was during the first Cylon War when a
Yeah,
Dark
yeah.
uh, or Husker, as his call sign was, when he first joined the colonial fleet,
Yep.
sort of pilot. Um, but that was actually really quite good if it wasn't sort of given the full sort of treatment sort of
Hmm.
thing. Um, they're also there was also talking about they're actually going to redo Battlestar Galactica, even though it's only been
Dude,
finished for like 10 years.
I that's what don't get me started on that. Why are they doing this? Like that's the thing. Like I don't know. Like I said, go redo Buck Rogers. Like go
Yeah,
redo like we said with the other one with Flash Gordon. Go like redo those. You know what I mean? Don't like it's like go try redo Star Wars. I'm surprised they didn't be like, "Hey, we're going to redo Star Wars and Alien and Aliens." Like
yeah, I don't think that's going to work, is it? Really?
yeah, no way, man. No way. I'm like, you better not be talking. Like, we're gonna redo Alien. Like, dude, no, you won't. You're just
Or
trying
even
to
well, again, they're going to redo Babylon 5. So
that. So that I can. Okay, I didn't watch the story, and it's one of those where I've watched episodes here and there, but never fully delved into it. And
that has been finished over 20 years. So
yeah,
that
and that's it. So I can see redoing and like telling a story because you have better effects. So that's one I think that's a good remake to me because it's not like you started off and it was like a top tier effects and all that kind of stuff going on. So you get a chance to, retell it and clean up stuff and amp up the visual look. So I'll root for that
also,
one.
I
I'll
think he's
definitely be
been
checking that
given.
out.
I think Straczynski has been given the 5 years that the 5 seasons that he needed
Oh yeah,
as well. So because obviously where they've made seasons smaller, because with
they
Babylon
did big
5
time.
you had like 20 odd episodes per season.
Yeah, it's like a
Um,
massive
I,
amount.
I think like some of them were sort of filler, to be fair.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, and
but
with that many, you can't like craft each one almost. It gets a little.
so I think obviously you'll go for like the reboot retelling of the story. Um, the old actors that are still surviving are apparently involved in there at some point or somehow.
Oh, nice, nice.
Uh, probably not in the roles that they were famous for.
No,
So
but just to have a little whatever in there, I'm down with that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. So it'll be cool. It'll be fun, and hopefully we'll get some other stuff as well. It's I could really do with some Buck Rogers about
I
now.
know, and I forget kind of almost the premise of Buck Rogers. That's why it's probably like it's been forever since I watched any of that, and I'm like, gosh, what was that all about? So I think it would be
Well,
overdue.
Captain William Buck Rogers, he went out on a spaceship called Ranger One and went through some wibbly wobbly space anomaly, which
Yeah,
froze him in time. And then he returned back to
that's
Earth
right. That's right. I remember
500
the
years
commercial.
later.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, see that how cool. You could do a great remake of that. I wanted and they what's funny is they ended up remaking the show and I watched it, but I mean I get it because I wanted to do the first Fantasy Island was almost like a romance type show. So it wouldn't be that, but I wanted to do a version of Fantasy Island, but it's like a rich tech billionaire who almost makes like a hollow room and it's like you have kind of like a almost like a city that's in the middle of the sea with like a rich tech billionaire. And basically, it's Fantasy Island for people who want to come in and live out some weird fantasy. So you could almost do like a version of Westworld, a version of the whatchamacallit, and slap it all in there. And I thought it would be awesome nowadays.
if you're going for a rich eccentric billionaire in the middle of the ocean, you've got to do Bioshock.
Really, I
The
never
whole
heard of that.
premise of Bioshock with the city of Rapture under the water. That would be such a cool show. With everything like the whole, like, oh yeah, we can milk these slugs to give us these
Yeah.
magical power things, and we can do crazy shit. And then you got like the little sisters and big daddies walking around. That
Oh
would be
yeah, with that with BioShock, why didn't I think of the video game? But you're absolutely right.
Bioshock was one of my favorite series of
Mm-hmm.
games. So obviously from that, and Bioshock Infinite was, I love that game. Again, like with games as well as TV shows, it's very rare that I'll do the campaigns
Yep.
multiple times. And Bioshock Infinite and Bioshock 1 and 2 is the only game that I've played twice. You
Really?
know, yeah, like online
Saying a
gaming,
lot. Yeah, yeah.
but like playing
Mm-hmm.
type thing. Bioshock, again, not games where you can have multiple players doing it.
Yeah, but no, just like to play through the whole campaign
Just to
or
play
whatever.
through
Yeah.
campaign solos, Bioshock is just a fantastic game. The whole concept about it, all the characters within it. Um,
Overton
oh,
asked us, speaking of sci-fi, did anyone watch The Terror on Prime? No, I haven't.
is that's not the
What
one
is
about
that?
like the 1900s sort of thing with a ship or something, is it?
Huh. I'll have to look that one up too. It's what's surprising is I usually like because I just kind of pay attention to half of that stuff. It's surprising when I hear a couple of these that I never heard of.
Hmm. Well, that's the thing. There's so much stuff out there. It's very hard to like. Again, like you might just flick through things and go, "Oh, that looks interesting."
Mm-hmm.
Again on Apple, you've got For All Mankind. Have you seen that?
Wait, For All Mankind. I should have because I have Apple, but which one is that?
It's basically a sort of what if. Imagine the
Okay.
space race. So like John Glenn, all
Oh, yeah, yeah.
that, like the Russians got into space first,
Mm-hmm.
and then they got to the moon first. That whole shebang and
I
how it affects.
started that. I don't know what about. There's something about alternative timelines that kind of throw like that I don't really dig on too much, and I don't know why. Because at some point I think I liked them, and then at some point I was just like, oh, I don't want to do an alternative timeline because I know I started that one, and maybe I should give it another chance. Huh?
Yeah, I watched a few episodes, and it was interesting. Because there was also the Right Stuff, which I think was maybe on
Yeah,
Amazon.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but because I love the movie so much,
Mm-hmm.
watching the series because it was a little bit more serious,
Yep.
it hasn't really grabbed me. So
Yep.
I've left that to one side now because I'd rather just spend 2.5 hours watching a movie with like Ed Harris and
Yeah.
thing because it was like the perfect telling of that story, um, which was just
Yeah, that was a good movie. I remember that one too. Yeah.
with old Chuck Yeager. It was just
It's
awesome.
so the Terran Prime, it's not actually a sci-fi. It's a nice subtle horror story, and season two is set in the internment camps of Japanese people in the U.S. during World War. Huh. I'm gonna have to check it out. Is it on Overton? Is it on like Netflix or is it Amazon or where did you find it? Out of curiosity.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Ah, okay.
It's in the previous.
Wow, interesting. I'll have to check it out.
So that's the
Yeah.
thing. With everyone coming on here, recommendations for TV shows and all that sort of stuff. Because obviously we've binged a lot during lockdown. We've watched so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Um, Again, one of my favourite shows I actually watched in lockdown, which was on Disney, was the Mighty Ducks.
Oh yeah.
So
The
I watched
remake,
the
the new
Mighty Ducks movies, and they brought out a new TV
yeah.
series in modern
That's
times.
funny because I ended up like, I can't say it enough. I mean, it's not maybe the greatest thing on earth, but the Arcane on Netflix. It's from like League of Legends. Oh man, I really dig the animation style. It almost looks like a little bit of hand painting on the 3D. It like has this thing, and I dig the story, and I've been enjoying that one for a little cartoon. It was like a half hour, and most cartoons I don't really like. Some I do. I definitely, but I'm into them and I try them. But a lot of them they kind of half lose me. This one I was really digging actually.
Yeah, the what's again one of the lockdown sort of things I watched, which was the Seven Deadly Sins, which is an anime. It's I think it's very loosely based on in England, but of old, because like there's King Arthur and
Yeah, yeah.
Merlin, but it is sort of like demons and angels
Hmm.
and stuff and ye olde in old times, but also monsters as well, as certain animes do. Um, and yeah, it was what's the other thing I finished in lockdown, which was again, it was something that I watched years ago, started years ago, an anime called Bleach,
Oh
uh,
yeah, yeah. I've heard that one
which
mentioned a
I really
lot.
enjoyed. I really enjoyed Bleach, although
The
they
only
did
one,
again. It gets repetitive because like the first sort of 5-7 minutes is going over what happened before, and then you kick into the
yeah.
story. Uh, so yeah, there's a lot of fast forwarding.
Overton, thanks for joining us from Sweden. Shout out. Have some fun with the fam. Appreciate you making
Yeah,
it.
catch
Yeah,
you later, dude.
we'll end here a little bit shortly. I'll do the usual, finish some of these up, clean some things up that I missed on the stream. But that was, as usual, pleasure to have you on, Mr. Forge of Mars, and really appreciate everyone who swung by to check it out. Thank you very much. And then we'll have, well, I got all kinds of stuff going on, so I have to walk the fine line between not being a spammy, pushy person and promoting myself. So there'll be whatever. We'll be on Saturday. So we're gonna have Ben Greaves on with us too, and we're gonna chat some more special. I guess I'll have to get together with him and figure out what kind of time. If you end up talking to him, figure out what time works for you and let me know, and I'll kind of figure it out. Because
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'll leave Saturday kind of free, so whenever's works good, works good.
yeah. No
And
worries.
then anything else in closingly? Anything we need to think of or say? Can't remember anything.
Um, no, not really.
No, that's it.
I think we've covered it all tonight, really.
Yeah, we
I mean,
covered it. We did it all. I,
we've done it all.
I'm gonna
Everything's
drink
here.
one of these days. I'm drinking on this show one day. I'm allowed.
You're allowed one.
I'm gonna have no. I'll make myself a cocktail. I'll do something.
Oh,
I'll have a
so fun.
cocktail. Yeah, up the game. So thanks everyone for joining us. Appreciate it, and we will see you